We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Jordyn Brooks, Miami Dolphins linebacker, and he's one of the core building blocks with this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Actually, just like one of the greatest values on the roster when you consider like what they got him contract-wise. Pretty cheap, and he had a very, very strong season. One of the better linebackers in the league, can make an impact, in multiple different ways, very impactful versus the run, constantly involved, making tackles, has sideline-to-sideline range, can make some plays in coverage too. He's not gonna, make any like super standout plays, but like he can match versus certain level tight ends and, spot drop, carry down the field, get out there, play with hustle. He's definitely one of the highest effort motor guys on the team, and he also has like that physical toughness that the defense needs, and I think you're just trying to build off of that. Also a very effective blitzer. Like he has some of the insane blitzes, man, like with it. Some of the plays I've seen him make working through contact and like the flexibility in his lower half. And then also just like when he sees it, man, like he makes some impressive plays in the backfield versus the run. And he does it in multiple different ways, whether it's working laterally, chasing, down the line of scrimmage, beating people to point of attack with his range, or just like working through the trash, avoiding some blocks. It's very fun to watch Brooks go to work. Here we get to see him on these backside of some outside zone runs. Very comfortable as sort of like, in this situation, being the weak side linebacker. Browns going outside zone, and he just, they're kicking out on the backside. He's the guy that's going to be left unblocked, and he just takes a good angle, and you can just see that burst in range to get there and meet the running back in the backfield. Love this type of play from Brooks, and this stuff is like all over the film. He did that multiple times throughout the year, so like seeing that. Also willing to get involved, like here. He sees this double team. He does a really good job when he knows he's responsible. So like, right here, he's gonna be responsible for this gap right here, the C gap. Once he sees this double team happen and he sees 75 pulling, he knows he wants to meet this guy at the point of attack. So he shoots downhill, gets involved, throws his shoulder in this guy, and is able to then slip off and then help make that tackle at the line of scrimmage. Like that's really quality linebacker play, and it's more than just him winning with his athleticism and his range out there. And then it's like later in that same game, like he's going to go out there, match up on a tight end. Like this is Tyler Conklin. I think he can match up on these level tight ends. He'll struggle versus like the higher level guys, but like pretty much every linebacker will. Just does a good job staying in the hip pocket. They try to hit him with the double move. He's got the ability to mirror and match, not getting overly physical, and then makes a play at the catch point. He has some pretty impressive plays in those situations. And even when he's not making the tackle, he's disrupting plays. Another scenario, he's responsible for this B gap. They're motioning across. Once he, identifies what's going on here, he sees 75 climb up there. He knows to just shoot downhill as long as this guy can maintain the edge, because he sees that he's going to get unblocked. This guy tries to peel off, but he gets downhill so fast that he's able to just completely stop that, force Breece Hall to spin, and it allows Ogba, everyone else to, get there, fly around, get to the point of attack, make a play. And also just being an aware player. Like here, they're trying to hit you with, the reverse pass and then hit the throwback to the quarterback, and Brooks is able to figure it out and feel this play, gain depth, stay over the top, ends up throwing it away. Rodgers even pulls him away, which is funny. But just making big plays like that, and he can get out horizontally. Like here, they go play action. They're trying to play action boot. This guy's down in the flat. Brooks, I don't even think Brooks is responsible for this. I think Holland ends up going after the quarterback when he's probably your flat type defender, and Brooks has to then get out and go make that play. And the fact that he limits this, like you can see this range, man, to get out, identify, see that this is going down the flat, from where he was aligned pre-snap, being a little bit late. The fact that he gets out there and makes this only like a 2-yard gain is so impressive from his pre-snap alignment, even taking some ball steps there. So some really impressive range, man. I'd love to upgrade at linebacker next to him. That'd be amazing, because that could really turn into a strength of your team. But if they don't, I still think, Brooks can do a good enough job if you can just get a decent player next to him. This one was another good play, just identifying the screen. He's always been pretty comfortable in these situations. Stays patient, stays square. He's kind of reading through the mesh point, and then he feels and sees these O linemen working on space. He's quick enough to recognize to where like he now then beats the lineman to the point of attack. He dips that shoulder to avoid the block, and look at him like play with that lower body flexion and his like that's really impressive athletic ability and recognition skills. And then also he makes his tackle. They called this a penalty, which was crazy. but that was one of the worst penalty calls I saw this season against Miami. And then just getting downhill, avoiding a block. You try to block him on the running back, he'll contort his body. Like, his ability to, his like balance through contact is impressive, which obviously helps with blitzing a lot, also taking on offensive linemen. But especially like his ability to like contort, look like he's out of control, but still stay on his feet and get after the quarterback. I would like to see, even more blitzes next season. I think having a more trusted linebacker next to him can potentially allow that. But just making plays, good job here. He's not going to get cut off. Like, if this O-line, like, he would have to be super late to get cut off by this right tackle. He's not going to allow that to happen. Dip your shoulder underneath, get control, be a part of the run fits. He's always pretty good in that area as well. See that motioning happening? It just takes a great angle to, one, not get cut by the receiver, not get, shot, or not shot blocked, get sealed by him, and then works through, takes a good angle. Just identification. He feels the flow of this play. He sees the pin pull action happening, and he just wants to shoot downhill before, he gets chipped and makes that play in the backfield on Joe Mixon. Very, very excellent work. And just constantly, like, here's a short yard situation. He's the one who gets into the backfield, allows everyone else to get to the work, but he's forcing people constantly, working off their spot. He's beating offensive linemen to the point of attack. Like, this is Elijah Vera Tucker, who has the leverage advantage this time, but once he recognizes, like, once he sees the, the motion with the fullback, who's like kind of your key in these situations, you're kind of seeing what's going on here. See that he's leading there, and then the offensive line, they're all stepping laterally, so he knows to get there. And Elijah Vera Tucker gives a little help to his center, but by him doing that, Brooks is able to identify and get past his face there so quickly and meet the guy at the point of attack, work through, like, the guy kind of even trying to hold him as well. And Vera Tucker's a good player, but the fact that he's able to, you have to be able to take advantage of the situation where, like, that guy's going to give just enough of a nudge to where, like, now the center is going to win that battle. Now the linebacker has to take advantage and make a play, and he does. That's just really good job. And he just trusts himself, plays with good confidence. Also, he'll just make you miss. Like, this time, this left guard should just have an easy job blocking him. Has the angle. Brooks kind of feels this guy attacking his outside half. He knows, like, hey, if this where he is, I might just get cut off. But if I just slip back underneath, hit that hard, hit that arm over right there, hit that club arm over, make him miss, and then, get to peel back to it. Also, good job by Deshaun Hand as well, kind of slowing that play down, but just fitting off your defensive lineman, big part of the game. Good job from Brooks here. Matched up on Kittle, actually has a pretty good rep. One, boom, he tries to slip out, work off script. He stays with it the whole way. Just really solid work from Brooks. Matching up on Juszczyk in the slot, they try to, target him. I think he's a guy that feels comfortable when guys kind of work into his area. I think sometimes when he's spot dropping and guys get behind him and there's, like, things in front of him, he can maybe get caught by the eye candy sometimes. But, like, overall, like, you allow him to get back, make some plays, get downhill. The cover stuff can be pretty good. Like, here in Tampa 2, he's kind of like that Mike, gaining depth, getting in the throwing lane. Once he sees the quarterback commit downhill, he's able to close on it. Almost even comes away with the pick off the tip from the running back. Just good work. Here he is carrying Mixon down the field. Mixon actually catches it, but he does catch it out of bounds. It's just like does a pretty good job staying in coverage on, like, running backs, tight ends, those types of things. I think it's the running game that really impresses me. Like, here, look at the false step. So one, it's the counteractions. Like, so he gets caught by some of this. Like, he's kind of keying this, and once he sees this tight end reverse back, because they're motioning him here, he sees in peripheral the tight end reverse back, and then he kind of sees the other guys take this step. But once he realizes the right guard's pulling, he's already changing directions. He's like, oh god, I'm late on my key. This right guard's pulling. I got to get back across. That's where it's going to go. And then he's already changing direction before he even sees the counter action happening in the backfield. And now the fact that he's able to still get back over there and make this tackle near the line of scrimmage while taking, like, a huge false step is really impressive. Like, you're not going to always be perfect with your reads and your keys. The fact that you can still go out there and make a play, good work. Here in coverage versus Garrett Wilson, they match him up in the slot. They're trying to take away. He understands the situation. Third and short, they're probably going to get him the ball quickly near the line to gain. The inside, breaking route, it will be easier for the quarterback and the receiver to make, so he's cheating to the inside. And he, maybe gets a little pulley, but they don't call it. Should have been a pick by Javon Holland, but he dropped it. But yeah, just good work matching up. Like, he has some plays where he matched up versus receivers. Good identification here. Like, once you see, boom, right guard's pulling, tight end's also working with it. So you got the GTE counter action here. He sees it. He doesn't just immediately fly down. He's staying patient, but he's staying square to the line. He's kind of, shuffling with it. And now once he sees it commit, he's like, oh, this hole's opening up. I got to get there at the point of attack, take the tight end on. He takes the tight end on, avoids it as well. He does a really good job avoiding blocks, in tight areas, which is huge. And also, if they try to get the ball in jet sweeps and stuff, here's a jet sweep to Brock Bowers. Good job by Holland as well, but look at Brooks, pursuing, getting out laterally. He makes a lot of good plays in these situations. And also, this was one of the first plays where I'm like, oh my God, Brooks, this was insane, where he matches up on Curtis Samuel, who's a receiver out of the backfield, and they throw the ball to him vertically. There's so much space for him to cover, but he's able to open up, carry it down the field, and make a play, get a pass deflection. That is very impressive from Jordyn Brooks. And that was second game of the season, making plays on receivers. It's not always going to be perfect in coverage, but it's very hard to find good cover linebackers anyways. And usually if you find any linebackers that can make plays in coverage, a lot of them are usually end up being former safeties, and they're not the best versus the run. But Brooks is just a really well-rounded guy. I think he's in that top 10 sort of linebacker group, probably, closer to 10, but he was playing really, really good last season. Definitely deserves that recognition. And I think he's a guy that you still try to build around because he's, still got some years left in him. He's still pretty young. I think he's around 27. So he's definitely a guy that you can have for a few more seasons, even maybe extend him again, because I really like Brooks as a player, and I think he brings that sort of mindset that team needs. So, if you enjoyed the video, comment and subscribe.